We've just seen the 7th Devo film. Like the first 6, that's a dramatic representation of their music. Unlike the first 6, however, this one's involved in a controversy. This is Mark and Jerry from the band, and Jerry's going to explain the situation this time.
Mark and I were just trying to develop a kind of a scenario. Like most of our films, it's usually a Fellini-esque or surreal reinterpretation of familiar things in the culture that people can understand, because we were trying to say something to people and trying to communicate on some other level than a slick product, which we are not. And in this case, with the way the country seems to be going and the inexhaustible interest in cowboy as the myth of modern man and the cowboy with the gun and fun at the ranch and mom and apple pie, we set up a scenario with cowboys and jeans and mom and apple pie and us dressed as kind of boat people with our flower pots on.
Because you've been kind of depressed about the direction things are going in, haven't you? I mean, if you listen to your music, you would think you have a few complaints about the...
I suppose we do. I mean, we kind of view the situation like aliens. I don't mean alienated, just aliens, like somebody hovering in a little craft watching human behavior and not believing that it could really be true. Whip It, for instance, is the opposite of sexist. It doesn't even fit into any definition, which I don't understand what that definition even means. I think that people that make those kind of accusations should have to substantiate them or be quiet.
Mark, when you're putting together a film, let's say the toaster incident and the idea of the woman and, you know, the whip and so forth, do you think there's any boundaries that people should put on artists? I mean, do you think that those boundaries are too tight nowadays, or? I mean, because one of the whole objectives of your band is to kind of say, look, just to jar and stimulate and have people think about things. And if you do it in a very conventional manner, you're not going to achieve that.
If the spud fits, wear it.
I mean, does this guy look like a sexist?
Jerry, do you think there's you know, do you think there's limits on what a person should be able to say in art?
Well, the problem is, who's establishing the limits? I mean, the limits seem to always go in one direction. There's one bias. I mean, no one objects to the Love Boat. No one objects to TNA commercials and TNA sitcoms, and no one objects to promo films of Rod Stewart singing between a girl's legs with hot pants on, or Meatloaf grinding up against a girl in a slit gown.
Because that's all part of the American experience, right?
That's their kind of sex, so they say, yay. You know, that fits the bill. But we come on with a sense of humor and a parody of maybe their values, and I suppose we're asking to be attacked because that doesn't please them. It doesn't reinforce what they already think. I mean, the question isn't sex or not sex, it's what kind of sex. I mean, sex isn't bad, but there's bad sex.
Well, is it almost like a silent triumph, the fact that the thing does achieve what you, if you were trying to stir people up with this thing, and the fact that it did stir them up, is that I mean, do you, in some kind of perverse way, is that almost like a pleasure for you?
I suppose, yes, perverse. It certainly wasn't meant to be received in the way it has been received. I suppose it's kind of ironically just. But, and I'm glad that actually we even have this forum for expressing our own viewpoint. It's very seldom that an artist has a voice concerning the accusations made against him.